All right, so another topic or question that comes up a lot is breathing exercises. A lot of directors and students alike always want to know, what are the best breathing exercises? What are the breathing exercises that we do? And I'll be very honest, a lot of it is taken from Sam Palafian and Pat Sheridan's Breathing Gym, which can be found on YouTube pretty quickly. If you simply type that in, there should be numerous videos that come up. And they also do a DVD series that's very helpful. So a lot of those exercises are taken from there. And then the other ones are just stuff that I kind of come up with on the fly, or are variations of exercises that maybe Freddie Martin has introduced, or Matt Stratton, those guys with Blue Coats and Cavaliers. So it's just kind of like this weird mix of ideas and that sort of thing. So the first thing to understand is the concepts that we're trying to ingrain. So the first one would be the inhale. So we need to make sure that we're monitoring the inhale and that we vary the number of counts that they are allowed to do intake. And then the next part would be the exhale. And so again, we work on the variation of time and intensity with the exhale. So that could be in for 1, out for 8, or in for 8, out for 1. It's really just getting them to fully understand how to bring air in steadily and move that air back out steadily at various volumes. So let's start with the inhale and talk a little bit about how I like to teach that and how to go over that properly. So the first thing that I usually hear with students is a decrescendo whenever they breathe in. So you'll get a really loud front and then a very soft end to their inhale. And I'm going to use this little PVC pipe here with a valve on it to make sure that you can hear my inhale. So you'll hear more of a whenever they go to take that air in, rather than a crescendo. And that's what I want. I want a crescendo. So starting a little softer and really pulling that air in right before they go to attack. That intensity is going to give you that steadiness and that really good turnaround. Because that's usually where the note is going to fall apart, is the space between the inhale and the exhale, and making sure that we minimize that time there so that it's really just in and right back out, smooth as we can make it. So the second part, the exhale. This is where most people are going to spend their time focusing. They want to hear that steady sound from beginning to finish, especially on the marching band field. So you have to, really, I try to teach a tiny crescendo, baby crescendo from beginning to end of note with a good clean release. And we do that through subdivision. So subdividing when we take air in, subdividing when we go to blow that air out is really going to help regulate and just keep us kind of thinking throughout the exercise. So I'll demonstrate one here. I'll do like an in for 1, out for 2, nice and slow. So hopefully that gives you an idea of that crescendo intake and then right back out. Very, very quick transfer, no pause in between. And then that steady exhale all the way through, tiny crescendo, and immediately back in, almost taking you by surprise each time. So that's the first part. Again, you can add variation to the inhale and the number of counts, and the variation of the exhale and the number of counts, understanding that the goal is to really try to get a lot of that air out. The majority of your air needs to be gone by the end of those exercises. And then that way you're working on capacity as well and control over dynamics. We all know that by now that dynamics are controlled through aperture size, so learning how to blow for 24 counts really sets that aperture up to play a soft pianissimo kind of sound. And on the opposite end would be if you exhale for 2 counts, this has to be nice and open, just like it has to be on a fortissimo note. All right, so that's kind of like those two areas there. And then there's all sorts of things you can do working on how hard you're pulling, using that abdominal area there, whether that's like pulling air against the back of the hand and really trying to work that, or even blowing against the back of the hand and trying to get some of those ideas working. Again, all of these are available through the Breathing Gym, and I'd be more than happy to answer emails or do another video if you'd like to kind of go over those exercises in greater detail. So yeah, that's kind of like the brief rundown of breathing exercises and what we do. The last one that I think has been probably the real big pivotal exercise has actually been one that came from Matt Stratton with the Blue Coats. And so his was pulling air in for 2 counts, sip, sip, blowing the air back out, blow, blow. The point being, the sip, sip there should be very minimal. You should have taken in enough air on the first 2 counts. You don't even have room for those sips. And then the air back out, you want to make sure that those last 2 blows that are added on, that's stale air. You never want to use that bottom, say 10 or 20% when you're playing, because that's just air that's not going to generate any sort of power or beauty or presence. So I'll use this handy tube here again and kind of run you down that exercise. So we'll do in 2, sip, sip, out 2, blow, blow, and I'll do this 3 or 4 times. So feel free to join in. So hopefully that gives you an idea of what you're looking for there. Again, making sure the sip sips are minimal because you've already taken all the air that you can get, and the blow blow at the end of the exercise is just getting rid of that stale air that you would never use. So you really understand those inner parameters of in to and out to being the air that you're really working with. So hopefully that helps out and kind of answers some of those questions there. And again, you could use a finger, you could use a tube with or without a valve, or just, again, just against the back of the hand, just so you have some way of kind of hearing that air and regulating it.